Okay, so hey, I'm Bob Kauai. All right, we're driving around the property today. I'm gonna kind of explain to you what they're gonna do during the demo process. What's gonna disappear for a while, what's staying, right? Mostly we're talking about what's gonna disappear for a while. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here today. We're just gonna check it out, kind of tell you what'll be left when they're done and what they're gonna kind of do. And I don't know, just because I just love driving around the place. Can't do tours, but I can come down, I can film, keep you up to date. I posted today an up-to-date article that was in our local paper, The Garden Island. I posted that for you, so that explained pretty well where it's at. The owners are saying they're on target to go, and that's where we're at, okay? So anyway, I've had a good time being down here today and just showing you this stuff, and I'll be showing you more in the future. All right, aloha, I love you, bye-bye. When demolition starts, which hard to say when, but it may be soon, fourth quarter of this year. These buildings right here, Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2, also called the fish wing and the frog wing, these will all be coming down. So on this side of these buildings, the first pool is the Queen's Pool, and then beyond that is the Prince Pool. So these buildings are some of the buildings that they will be removing. Okay, the building right in front of us here, this is called Ali'i 2, okay? And it's almost like in two sections, actually. And it was, show you a little more of it there. It was also called the frog wing, okay? So there's like two sections to this building. It's right up on Kaua'i Highway. And this is the second section of it right here. So many people will remember staying in the frog wing because they were all decorated in a frog theme. All the hallways and the bathrooms and just the rooms themselves, they had all this beautiful tile work in the bathrooms, and of course the shell sinks, and the showers were done in tile work that had frogs sitting on lily pads in them. So that was Ali'i 2, the frog wing. Okay, the next one here is Ali'i 1, and this is also built in two sections. This was the fish wing. So in Ali'i 2, all decorated in a frog theme. In Ali'i 1, the fish wing, again, all decorated, but in a fish theme. And so in the bathrooms, all this beautiful tile work was in fish in the ocean. And then also in the shower. And then that also all had those beautiful giant clamshell sinks. So these buildings, and as well as, okay, we're coming now to on the right was the lobby. That's going to have to be totally rebuilt. On July 4th, 2014, A huge fire started here at the Coco Palms. It just totally destroyed the lobby. Also destroyed one of the wings that had beautiful suites in it, and that was above the dining room. Right in front of us, this is the bridge. The building on the left, these were the shops. All sorts of different retail shops in here. And then the bridge you see going right in front of us, that went from this wing to the lobby and had big steps that came down from the bridge to the lobby. Now, from what I'm told, the bridge is going to be removed October 2022. My wife and I, Melody and I, got married on the bridge. And Uncle Larry Rivera married us. That was the last wedding done here at the Coco Palms. And it kind of makes us sad because they told us they're going to take the bridge down. But, you know, things change. The retail building will be restored. Now, they're not going to take it down. It's up close to the highway, the new lane on the highway, but it will be restored. And then the building in front of us here on the right, that is the Shell building. Now, that was basically the last building built here at Coco Palms. And it is a large room building, and it was all decorated in a shell motif. The lights on the walls in there were made to look like shells. Of course, they all had the large cell sinks, and then the wallpaper in the halls, etc., was in a shell design. This building is also coming down. So the Shell building will be coming down. What's left of the lobby will be totally rebuilt. Buildings Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2 will be coming down, and all of them rebuilt in the very same footprint that they're in right now. So really very little work has to be done as far as any excavation or anything here. They really don't have to do that because everything here will be built in the very same footprint that it was before. So that's up front here. That's what they're going to be doing. Okay, aloha. Okay, we're coming at these buildings from a different direction. This is the Ali'i 1, as I mentioned, and then you look under this building. Okay, and you can see that there's garages under these buildings. Now this garage goes all the way under from Ali'i 1 and all the way through under Ali'i 2. So now I don't think they had a bunch of SUVs back in the day when this hotel was built, because I'm not so sure an SUV could get under here. But you can see the sign right above you that says guest parking, and you look over to your left, you can see the sign that said laundry. And there was also underneath here a beauty shop. And then eventually they moved the beauty shop to the retail building. Okay. I'm gonna drive to the other end of the building, and we'll take a peek in the garage from that end. Okay, right in front of us is the retail building. It had 2 stories, and I'll just kind of flip this camera a little bit so you can see it. It's approximately 12,000 square feet of space for retail shops. And again, that building is going to be restored. Okay, I'm at the other end of Ali'i 2, and here I'm looking at the other end of the garage. So I was at one end and we showed you all the way through. This is the northern end of the garage that goes under Ali'i 2. So the garage starts at the beginning of Ali'i 1, goes all the way through, and then down at this end, this is where they had a lot of the mechanical equipment to operate the hotel. This is where they do all the laundry for all the rooms, the sheets and blankets and towels and all that stuff. And they had a big room that would press all that thing. So all that stuff, at one point we gave some of those great big dryers and washing machines to a high school here on Kauai. I think it was Kaua'i High. So that's what used to be down here. Okay, I'm going to show you where another building was. Okay, again, we're at the end of Ali'i 2, but then we'll turn around here, and right here was another large building. And this was right here, the King's building. Only this is the annex from it. So this was only 2 stories. Now what is left are lava rock walls from the annex here. You can still see the cement flooring that's here. This is one of the lava rock walls. This is the other one. Now this building, Hurricane Aniki did a lot of damage to it. So how this building was structured, this was the 2-story annex. And then along here, you can't see the building's not there anymore, was the rest of the King's building, which was 3 stories. Now the hurricane did a lot of damage to this particular building. Basically wiped out the 3rd story of it. But that building sat here for a long time. Both this one, the King's Annex, and the King's building sat here for many years. And then they took it down in 2016. You can see that old bridge over there. Let me zoom in on that bridge. That bridge used to come from the restaurant and the big banquet hall, the Queen's Hall over there. Went right across. We used to call it the King's Bridge because it would go right to the King's building, which was right along here. And of course that bridge is just totally all collapsed now. And from the design I've seen, I think the King's building will be rebuilt in the same footprint that it was before. I hope I'm 100% correct on that. Okay, we're gonna go into Ali'i 2 here. As I said, also known as the Frog Wing. Because check out these stairs. Okay, really cool. These stairs, all built in wood, had lots of design built into them. A lot of stuff in this building had a lot of beautiful wood design work. But these steps, keep in mind, in this entire hotel, there was only one elevator, and that was a freight elevator. So if you're staying any of these buildings, and of course there's going to be bell service to help you with your luggage, and go up these steps, all 3 floors, and these buildings were all 3 stories. And that's what we're doing right now. Just going up the steps to the 3rd floor. It was just really beautiful work. And down below us, of course, you can see the lagoon down here. There's the lagoon. Right below us here, this is another bridge. Went across to the Queen's Hall. This is one of 3 pools on the property. This is the Prince Pool. It's one of the smaller pools. And then these, between the sections of buildings, they had these like skywalks. In larger cities, you see skywalks between buildings. Well, we had skywalks here too. So now we're in another section, and I told you there was only one elevator. And there it is. This was the only elevator in this entire hotel. Right there. Okay. So that's between Ali'i 1 and Ali'i 2. Now we're going to be over another pool here. This is the Queen's Pool down below us. That was the Queen's Pool Bar and Grill right there. Great hamburgers, great food. And this one also had a jacuzzi. And then it had these like totems. See if we can zoom in on the totems over there. Okay. And the totems used to be at the original Seashell restaurant across the highway. Okay. So that was the Queen's Hall Bar and Grill. Okay, I'm on the 1st floor of the Ali'i 1 building, and this is another staircase. It's just like the one we just walked up. So there were 2 of these because that's the only way you're going to get up to your room is one of these staircases. Keep in mind everything I'm showing you in these buildings is going to disappear. It's all going to be gone. And then they are going to rebuild it in the same footprint. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do now, going to drive around the north end of the property and go to the back side of it. And way back in the day at this end of the property, number one was a lot of parking. Number two was the maintenance building, which kind of just fell down years ago. And that was right up there. Okay, but now we're going to be driving around behind. We're going to come behind the Coconut Palace restaurant, the Queen's Hall, all that stuff in the back here. On our left, there were some beautiful cottages here called the Prince of Hawaii cottages. And there were two structures. Each structure was two cottages. And each one had these beautiful lava rock jacuzzis right there. And they left those jacuzzis here, even though they tore the bungalows down. They do want to rebuild these bungalows, the Prince of Hawaii. And then we're coming up behind the Coconut Palace restaurant. Let me take this off. Okay, we're behind the Coconut Palace restaurant. And then that taller building there, that was the Queen's Hall, the big banquet hall. It was really beautiful. And they want to restore all that. Okay. Beyond that, that smaller building there to the right, that was the museum right there. And then hooked to the museum was the honeymoon suite. And then to the right of that is the chapel, the beautiful chapel, originally built for the movie Miss Sadie Thompson with Rita Hayworth, built in 1953. You saw the chapel in Blue Hawaii. Chapel's been in a lot of stuff. And let me walk up that way because I want to show you something else that's going to be okay. Back in 2016, when they did a partial demolition here, they tore the bungalows down, okay? But they left all the foundations. So, okay, there's the chapel right there. And then here's the, in front of us here, the foundations for the Queen's cottages. So each of these foundations was 2 units. So for the Queen's cottages, they had 2 bungalows in each foundation. So there were a total of 8 of them. Okay. From what I understand now, when they come in to do demolition, they're going to remove all these foundations, and then they're going to totally rebuild all the bungalows. So these down here at this end of the property were called the Queen's Cottages. And they'll be all new Queen's Cottages, only they're going to be built higher. They're going to be built 8 feet off the ground because that's the flood code. So those are all going to be down here. These buildings back here will be restored. That suite, and also what was the museum. Of course, the Queen's Hall will be restored. They will restore the area for the restaurant in there, the Coconut Palace. Whether it will be used as a restaurant or more banquet space, I am unsure. The previous owner wanted to use it for more banquet space. They didn't feel we needed more restaurants. I don't know what the new owners have in mind for the Coconut Palace. Okay, we're here near the King's Cottages, but right here, this was another restaurant called the House in the Palms. That pool you see there, that was the original swimming pool at Coco Palms. And then they built a new, much larger one called the King's Pool. So they reduced this one in size and just turned it into a reflection pool. But here was the, like the bar area, and over there was a restaurant area of the House in the Palms. They'd also have the managers' parties a couple times a week here. They'd invite guests who were just got married here, were on their honeymoon, etc. Okay, and then now we're at the foundations of the King's Cottages. There were 5 foundations. Each one was 2 units, or 10 of them. Okay, so there were 10 units here. Again, in 2016, when they did the partial demo of the property, they tore these down, and they will rebuild them on 8-foot stilts. But when they do the demo upcoming here soon, they will remove all these foundations and put new ones in. Each one of these back here had, you can see right here, lava rock showers. So each bungalow had an outdoor shower and tub. And that's what they all look like. And this was like a patio area for each bungalow. And Elvis's bungalow is down at the other end, down there close to the end. The one just before the end was Elvis's, number 56. When they filmed Blue Hawaii, they used number 59, which was the last bungalow down there. So that's what these look like. And keep in mind, each one of these was 2 units. Okay.